Hello, my name is Tom, and I'm currently developing neurological issues in my body. So I kind of wanted to make a video to make a little journal entry and track my progress. Kind of give you a snapshot in time, myself a snapshot in time, how I'm feeling right now, just to see how things are progressing. When we talk about neurological issues, it's issues with your nerves and how they function, your ability to control your body and feel things the way you're supposed to. Um, I'm not diagnosed with, you might be familiar with things like ALS or Parkinson's. I'm not diagnosed with anything right now, but I am seeing a neurologist here in January sometime to see, we'll see how that goes. I feel like there's a pretty decent chance I'm going to develop things in the future because it turns out one of the ways you can develop these diseases, we think, is through repeated exposure to certain toxins and substances, which is what I think happened to me. But again, just as a journal entry, it's January 13th, 2026. I'll kind of talk about how I feel right now and briefly touch upon how things have gotten to this point. Because this started in late 2024, like late December 2024. My big toe went numb, and I feel like I was repeatedly exposed to things over the course of the next year, up until the last 2 weeks when things kind of got much worse. And right now, I'm just kind of tracking my progress. So it's the 13th of January. Over the first 2 weeks of January 2026, I wore old work boots um, that are sitting over there. I might put a picture up. I don't know. And these old work boots, I think, had something in them that exposed me to something. And I put them on, and my symptoms kind of climbed up over the first 2 weeks of January in terms of number one, numbness. I have a lot of numbness in my big toe area, my left foot. Um, and then developed, especially over the first week of January, these symptoms got really intense, and a little bit in the second week too. But numbness in my big toe area, and then my pinky toe area, and the side of my pinky toe area of my foot, really intense numbness, and then in the sole area of my right foot too, just mostly my left. Other stuff that happened, it kind of feels like I'm walking on a Lego all day. If you ever had numbness in your feet, feels like you're walking on a Lego all day. I try to have some support so I can still walk. It's just more difficult. Other symptoms that have happened is inflammation, burning sensation that was really intense in the first week and kind of the beginning of the second week. Not even after the beginning of the second week too. I would have this burning sensation in both feet, but also it went all the way up my legs and kind of stopped at my torso. So that was a new feeling because mostly with the symptoms I've had in the past, the symptoms kind of just were in my foot or my feet. They didn't really go all the way up the leg too much. There was one time in November of 2025 and December where I had burning sensation going all the way up my left leg, but it's mostly been just in my feet. Um, so over the first 2 weeks of January, a lot of burning sensation in both legs. And it was kind of hit its most intense point this past Saturday, whatever it was, the 10th, or I forget what day it was, but this past Saturday of the second week was really intense burning sensation, inflammation in my both legs. So that's a symptom that's been happening as well. Weakness is another new symptom that's been happening recently, especially over the second week of January. Both legs have gotten noticeably weaker. I can still walk, I can still support myself, but I'm not really doing any agility drills, especially with the numbness and stuff like that. Um, so that's something new to notice is both legs are noticeably a lot weaker. I can still support myself and walk around, it's just a lot more difficult. Um, so that's a little bit concerning right now. It stops right at my torso, so I can still control my I'm not incontinent or anything right now. But who knows what's going to happen in the future. Um, and other symptoms that have been happening recently that are new is that I had muscle twitching, like little muscle twitching, like uncontrollable stuff like that, mostly in my left foot, left leg area, a little bit in my right foot, right leg. But that was concentrated kind of in the end of the first week and then throughout most of the second week, just muscle twitching. That would happen and I couldn't control it. It was kind of concentrated in my left leg, left foot area. Still happens, just not really as often. So that's something that's been happening recently that's new. Um, and aside from the muscle spasming and the inflammation and the weakness and the numbness, I can also feel my pulse happening in my left foot. So it's just like this kind of staticky little thing. I can feel the blood going through. It's kind of freaky and it's not pleasant, but it's happening as well. Apparently that's common for people with nerve issues. So I wanted to mention that. Um, Another thing is overall in my body, I just feel different. I used to say I'm like more sensitive. I feel like that's accurate, or I don't know if it's anxiety, but most of the stuff has been concentrated on my foot and my leg recently. So now this kind of overall sensitiveness and anxiety is a little bit new. Even just laying down on a couch or a bed, I feel more sensitive to things than I have in the past. So I'm kind of worried about that if that's going to get better, or if it's just a passing thing, or I don't know. But it's noticeable. So that's kind of what's been going on fairly recently. I'm not really nauseous. I'm not throwing up. I don't have weird digestive issues. It's just like all of that feeling stuff. And it's all in my legs too, except for the overall sensitiveness. I would say there's a lot of weakness in my overall body too, but it's not a lot in terms of me not being able to do anything that I'm supposed to keep myself alive. So it's just I just feel like I was exposed to something by putting on those work boots, and I had them on for a little bit, but apparently that was enough for your skin to absorb whatever in the shoes. Because essentially, if you want to think of like a paper towel, dry paper towel, you dip it in water, that moisture just kind of goes up the paper towel, right? Same thing with your socks and your shoes. If your feet are sweating, and the moisture from your sweat gets mixed in with the socks, and those socks mix in with the stuff in the shoes, your skin gets exposed to whatever's in the shoes, and you absorb it. And you might just feel like your feet are sore for a little bit, but essentially what's happening is your skin is absorbing and it's going into your bloodstream, whatever happened to be in your shoes. Um, I think that's what has been happening. I think I've been exposed to different types of things over the past year that I haven't been aware of. Um, which is a whole different story. But we'll leave that talk for another day. Essentially, I think what's happening to me is I've been intentionally exposed to toxic substances by and it's real easy. It's kind of scary how easy it is. All you got to do is spray somebody's shoe, either inside it or on the top of it, and then it seeps through. It's real easy to do that to somebody and give them neurological disorders, things like pesticides, stuff with heavy metals, toxic chemicals, and that sort of thing. I think I was very likely poisoned in some way, which is a talk for a whole nother video. But for right now, for this journal entry, just wanted to kind of make a little diary, I guess, and tell people what's going on because that's what's going on. Um, don't know how much longer I'm going to have control over my body, if I'm going to get Parkinson's or ALS or something else, or have to amputate my legs or something. But for right now, that's what's been going on. So we'll see if I have to make another of these videos in the future. Thanks. Bye bye.